Not fragile like a flower.
Fragile like a bomb.
Hello and welcome to episode 31 of Like a Bomb podcast. I'm Bailey
I'm Jill, her mom.
and I can't talk.
That's okay.
Tongue is not great. I should really do tongue twisters like I did when I worked at the planetarium. Before each show I'd present, I would do a bunch of tongue twisters as the side so I could not stumble over my words when I gave the presentation to a bunch of people.
I can't do tongue twisters no matter what.
That's fair. I would, because it was an auditorium of sorts, and you had two kind of walkways down. There's one walkway that everyone had to go down, and the other one was the out. So there's the enter and out. And the out was where I would go and wait, kind of like in the wings
Okay.
of the auditorium. And that's where I'd do my tongue twisters and everything after I got set up with the mic and controller and everything.
I can't talk to a group of anybody. If there's adults involved, I get flustered. If there's kids involved, I don't care.
Okay,
But
it helps that the most of my actually in front of people, which I have lots of experience with other stuff of big groups. Not, I mean, yeah, obviously you do too, but mostly kids.
yeah, mostly kids.
Um, it was kind of just in the beginning, just introducing myself and like, welcome to the show, and here's what I'm going to do and talk about, and like kind of hype up. And then I'd go sit in the audience and use the controller and the iPad. And I see
Okay.
a Brody stretching.
Yeah. I don't know. His brother was just peeking around the corner a second ago, so who knows? You might get
Mm.
a. He was taking a bath when I first came in here to set everything up. I walked in and he was just looking at me like, I'm in the middle of baking a bath. What are you doing in here?
How dare
And
you?
I was like, I'm not gonna pay you no mind. Oh, is it because you know we're recording that you turned away? You're like, I don't want my face to be recognized.
He's a
He's just
black cat.
trying to protect his privacy, I
Uh-huh.
guess. I don't know. His brother's around here somewhere running around, but we haven't. I need to ask your sister. Maybe you know this. I keep forgetting to ask her. The time elapse videos that she makes.
Yeah.
Is she doing that with her phone?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I
because
don't.
that's what,
Mm. She
because I
has
mean,
Apple, I have Android, but it could be on a specific app. I don't think it matters too much.
I need to ask her. I need to remember to ask her because I need to know who was walking in the hallway, what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago now?
True.
Because I
It
really want to know
the
that.
problem is, something like that would take up a lot of space.
I know.
So it'd be a very large video.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously, if it time lapse, it should be quick and easy to
Condensed.
watch because
Yeah.
it's a time lapse and it's sped up. But yeah, you just have to make sure you have plenty of space on your phone, which
Yeah.
honestly, most days I don't have problems. I mean, my first phone was 16 gigabytes. That was a problem. Now I have 64. Okay. I don't know how much I have. I have to go play in settings. But I
I don't
have a
know.
lot more than I need. Most of my data or storage is taken up by photos anyways and
Yeah,
videos.
we both, I know Piper and I both don't have really the storage, but I have the camera that Jenny gave me. I just need to set it up. I just don't have, I'm generally only here for like one day of the weekend.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and yeah, but I just want to know what was walking in the hall.
Be useful.
And
Um,
that
yeah, we
worries
have
me.
random thuds that sound like birds running into the windows sometimes. It's not birds running into the windows. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's a common enough thing that a lot of people complained about in the Facebook group for my neighborhood.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Maybe it's like a wind tunnel. I don't know. Maybe the way the streets are set up and I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
mostly my backyard is what faces up
Yeah.
to someone else, and that's where my
Yeah.
the primary bedroom is in the
Mhm.
back. So I don't think it's a wind tunnel. I don't know, it was weird, especially how it's
Interesting.
facing. But,
Weird.
yeah, the houses make weird noises in general.
Well, they're also brand new. I mean, they're still settling. It takes decades for them to settle.
Yeah, my house is 3 years old?
Yeah. So, really, really new in
Yeah.
comparison to, like, the house I'm living in.
Yeah.
I think
I
mine was
mean, I know
in
houses make settling
91.
noises at night, especially
Yeah.
because that's when everyone's silent, so you can hear it
Yes, and
all.
you get to hear it all. Why do you keep coming around the corner and peering at me? It's weird and creepy, dude.
Because he wants to be part of the episode in my crazy spiky hair.
Well,
Well, it's
I
weirdly
tried
flat.
to use a product I haven't used in years to see how it did because I remember not liking the way it made my hair feel, and I think I still feel that way.
It looks
It's
nice
not
though.
I think it's like one side curls better than the other, like, I have spirals on this side,
Yeah.
but
That's how my hair was when it was long. One side was better than the other.
yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
Mm, hair.
I don't know, I got nothing.
I don't know. Spooky markets. Uh, I got the market today. I got my cloak on that I made for the Ren Fair back in May. I made it. Um, yeah, I'm quick and dirty, but it works.
I can't stop yawning.
You go make me god.
There's, like, big banging sounds coming from outside.
Is it windy for you?
No, they're just it's like there's construction, but I don't know where there's because it's a small town, so there's not, like, big, tall buildings, sound travels faster
Yes.
and
Yeah.
further, and so, like, I can hear things that are way farther from me very, very clear, like they're in our backyard, but because there isn't anything to, like, stop the sound,
Mhm.
that's really weird because I'm not used to that. I'm used to, like, major apartment complexes that are high and
Mhm.
office buildings,
Mhm.
everything, no matter where, there's always something tall,
There's
like,
so many apartment complexes going up. It's insane.
yeah, there's just nothing tall around here. Like, there's a few things that are downtown that are taller, but that's not even that much. So, like,
Yeah.
we can hear so far because there's so much farmland. It's crazy. So, like, you hear a bang and you're like, "Okay, that sounds like it's in my backyard," but there's an assisted living place in, like,
Strange
my
noises is commonly known in my city.
yeah. Well, yeah.
We got a lot going on.
Yeah, we have nothing going on here. Well, we have a new baseball diamond that's, I think,
No,
getting its finishing touches right now.
I see.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like this big deal, but
I see.
still not sure about the parking and how all it's gonna work, but
It's baseball
hey,
though.
bring in businesses. I think they need to take the old mall and turn it into an IKEA.
They're not gonna bring an IKEA to where you are.
They it would be cheaper land for them. They almost did it at the Cary Town Center.
Okay. I mean, Cary
So
Town Center would make sense.
yeah, but if you put it where
But
I'm
also,
at
didn't Epic Games buy Cary Town Center?
yes, but if we put the IKEA here, you have I mean, it's people from Virginia would even come to this one because it's
Yeah.
closer to go to Northern Virginia for an IKEA and Charlotte. So, like, I think they would get what they need to get out of it. Like, it would be a huge thing.
I know IKEA is piloting smaller
Yeah.
ones
Well,
where
there's a
you
dead
can still
mall right
order
here.
everything there so you don't have to pay for shipping. Because 'cause we've ordered the same things from IKEA. Their shipping is insane.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
My old bed was from IKEA. My bed from when it was my house.
Mm,
Um, I mean, this is my house, but, um our house, when I
mhm,
had that wireframe bed that I really wanted, it came from IKEA because it was the only one I found that I really liked that
mhm.
wasn't too prissy and,
Yeah.
but still pretty. Now I have what I have that I'm not super happy with, but it's okay. I think it's the same
I
bed your sister had in black, though.
I just have what I have because I didn't pick the bed frame that I have now. My partner picked it, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. I'm not particular about a bed frame. And whenever we decide to move to the Pacific Northwest, we're not bringing it with us.
Oh, well, I mean,
So we can do something we
yeah.
decide on together, which I don't think it would vary much differently at all.
Yeah, it bums me out because mine was a double.
Mm.
and then I didn't take it with me because I was taking Grammy's bed, and then I went back to a double when I moved here to a smaller room, and I could use my frame, but I don't have my frame because I got rid of
Double,
it.
you have a queen mattress I gave you.
Yeah, Grammy has that.
Oh.
Yeah, because my room's too tiny.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
remember, I have the small bedrooms.
Yes.
Yeah, I have small rooms.
And you're short, so a full works perfect. I hate fulls. I'm too tall for them.
Actually, I hit the bar sometimes. Sometimes, very rarely. I have
Yeah,
to have
a
scooted
full is
down.
way too short for me.
Yeah,
I could
that's
hit the
why.
bar sometimes on the queen
Yeah.
if I
No,
had
I'm
it,
not.
but we don't have a foot bar the way our bed frame is.
Yeah, I have a foot bar, but it's
Yeah.
covered by blankets because the cats.
The needy babies.
Yeah, little monsters. Well, I'm ready if you're ready. Well, I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. I don't
I
even
mean, it's
know.
your story first, so let's go.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, it's different. So I don't even know where the inspiration came for this, but it's what I did.
Okay.
So I figured this is October. This will be the week of Halloween. Halloween's in just a few days.
Mhm.
Yay, but then November hits and craziness ensues and we have to figure out Thanksgiving and what
And
I'm gonna
Christmas and
make.
da 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 da.
Yeah, all that stuff. And then it's Christmas and it's like
Mhm.
but at least after Christmas, then I feel like the school year kinda goes faster, because I need to go faster. But I decided that I was gonna do kind of a ghost story that's not just a it's not really a okay, kinda okay, here's what I'm doing. The White Lady. So, there's so many ghost stories where they're in, like, hotels, mansions, roads, wherever. There's a white lady ghost. So it's and it okay, I'm just gonna talk. It's a type of ghost found in folklore around the world. It's not like just an American story. It is folklore found around the world, typically representing sorrow, betrayal, tragic death. Typically in the US, it's like she decided to kill herself because her fiance or her husband or her child or somebody got lost, or it weirdly is generally like they were about to get married and he hadn't come back. And so she killed herself not being able to go on, and then, like, 2 days later, he shows up, you know? Usually, that's the stories I hear from America. Typically, she's wearing, like, a wedding dress or, like, a white nightgown because she did it in the middle of the night or something, but basically, she's dressed in white. It's not like the lady's white, it's that her clothing is white. Um, Generally died because, either violently or because of grief and suicide. It goes to, like, lost love and maternal love. White also represents purity. But, stories it's like I said, husbands, fiancés, or even a child, they just can't go on, and a lot of the stories in the US are like, they thought they lost him, so they killed themselves, and then they showed up. The
Sounds
white
like
dress is
Romeo and
often
Juliet.
yeah, it's like and it's become like a trope kinda thing where it's constant. If you go think about a haunted hotel, there's almost always a woman in white or a woman in red or a woman in gray or something. Um, uh, the white represents purity and tragedy. Um, she's usually recurring, and it's more of like a loop kind of haunting, not a interactive, like, you can't, like, talk to her and then like, it's more of a just repeated pattern, kind of haunting. Sometimes it's considered an omen of pending death or disaster. Like, I know there's, like, a gray person on, like, Hatteras or Outer Banks or something that, like, if or a blue person that every time they're seen, there's, like, a major hurricane, like,
Oh, well,
granted,
that's no fun. Cause
granted, they're falling into the ocean because of
exactly, it's
erosion,
the Outer
so,
Banks.
yeah, I'm not really sure there needs to be any more impending, like, it's falling into the ocean, literally, if you haven't seen the news.
I mean, I haven't been keeping up, but I mean, it's islands, and it's constantly being beat up by hurricanes.
Yeah, and erosion, so it's just I know I live in North Carolina, so that's why I probably get more of those messages, but with
Yes,
all
and
the
considering I
storms, there's
don't live in the state anymore.
yeah, there's constantly I think, like, 9 or 10 major houses fell into the ocean in the last couple months. It's crazy, but, She is, sometimes she's just a representation of, like, a collection of scenarios in that community or culture representing loss or violence or sacrifice of some kind. Some examples from different cultures in Latin America is a woman who has drowned her children and now wanders the earth weeping. In Brazil, a ghost of a woman who died from childbirth or violence or sometimes killed, linked to honor killings, which honor killings, that's a kind of an oxymoron kind of thing. Like, it's not that, like, they died because of some major, like, sacrifice or they were a hero. It was because they were killed because they had dishonored their family, and so their family killed them. So it's not quite the right word. In Indonesia, it's a female vampire spirit, often described as a pregnant woman who died during childbirth. I think feel like a woman died in childbirth and they're not a vampire. I don't understand that. But
Interested that she's a vampire.
Mhm. Um, in Ireland is the spirit of a bride who took her life after her father killed her fiance, and now
Oh,
she wanders the grounds of Fort Charles Fort, not Fort Charles, Charles Fort, which I'm assuming is Fort Charles, but I don't live in Ireland. In the US, in Rochester, New York, the Eastman Park lady is a ghost said to be the mother who threw herself off a cliff after her daughter disappeared and is now seen rising from a lake. Yeah. So, um, apparently there was a movie made in 1988 called The White Lady, which is based kind of on the Rochester story, but the director and writer kind of also took a lot of fictional licensing and stuff. But apparently, back in the 19th century, it tells of a woman who was looking for her daughter. Um, she thought a local farmer murdered her daughter, and she is seen wandering as a ghost. In a it's a hotel for the Spanish style ha, 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 Spanish fort. Um, moving on. Okay, so through history, let's go back into the Middle Ages. The German folklore was the white woman appeared in German myths. This spirit dated back to at least the medieval times and is associated with castles and natural spots. She's, of course, wearing white, or kind of misty, seen in the middle of the day. It is a signal of impending death or to guard your treasure because something's coming for it. Okay. In Sweden in the 17th century, um, part of the it's just a kind of motif more than anything. Then we go to 18th, 19th century, so 17, 1800s. There were a story of places her death around in like Quebec, and she's white, wearing white because of grief, of course. So and then like commonly now it is just like become like this trope that there is always in every hotel, like, especially if it goes back to, like, the beginning of the country, that, like, her and a lot of it is more on Eastern and Western, like, coastal cities where the hotels and the lighthouses and things like that are is because they're, like their fiancé or their husband or their son or somebody was out at sea, and they were supposed to be back, like, a couple months ago, and they just can't move on with their lives, and so they kill themselves, and then, of course, they show up or, they find some other true to the story. Um, let's see what else. Throwing my notes. The most famous white lady in America is Resurrection Mary, and it's in the Chicago area. And this has like endured since the 1920s, 1930s. The only thing is I can't find for sure, like, an official person to link it to. There's, like, 2 suspects of who it is. So here's the basic story. Um, Ghost legends in the Chicago area. She is represented it's in that okay, so we've all heard that story is the driver saw a person walking at night and they felt bad, so they offered him a ride, and that person said where they needed to go. When they get them there, they either are not in the car anymore or they go into wherever it is, which typically is a cemetery that the driver didn't know that was gonna be a cemetery when they to get the address, and then they disappear into the cemetery, or they disappear before they get in the car. Like, it's called a vanishing hitchhiker, apparently. But
Yeah.
that's very, very typical. So this person, this ghost, is represented by that idea. Is seen by drivers and then disappears often near a cemetery. The legend centers around the Resurrection Cemetery, which is in Justice, Illinois, because Chicago's in Illinois.
Yes.
Um, it's also associated with Willowbrook Ballroom, which was also called the Old Henry Ballroom. This actually burnt down in 2016. So the ballroom's not there anymore. But so, like I said, those are the three main things. Like the cemetery, the road the cemetery is on from the ballroom to the cemetery, and then the ballroom that is now not existent. It identifies a woman named Mary, which I know we say John Doe and Jane is like the unknown, but Mary's also been one of those very common names from like the start of our country. If you go back to like England and Britain, and Mary was a very common name. I know my grandmother's name was Mary Frances, so it's a pretty common name in back. Um, so it goes to possibly two women. One was Anna Norcus, and she died in 1927, and Mary Gravegory, and she died in 1934. So they've suggested being the two. The only thing is Anna, who died in a car accident, possibly connected to the burial proximity. So basically, she was like a hit and run victim. And so the thought is that since the cemetery is right there, that she was buried there, or at least interned there for a period of time because it was a hit and run and, they didn't want to get caught. And then Mary, she died in a car crash downtown, but she meets some of the physical descriptions of the ghost. But then again, doesn't really align with the timing as much because ghost sightings started happening in the 30s. She didn't die till the 30s. But
It could be
these are our
both.
it could be a combination of there's no real evidence to combine
It could
either
be
of
both
them to
women.
this. Yeah, it could just be a random person nobody knows, or it could be a murder victim. This is the 1920s and 30s. Like, people didn't have the greatest records back then. You
Nope.
didn't have to go to the hospital to have a baby, so it could be somebody that there wasn't even a record that was alive. Like,
Yeah.
there's all of those things. But the one of the hit and run is, like, she was at the dance, and then she left the dance, and she was walking, and she was and then she was buried there. And then Anna was a 12-year-old, and she's the one who died in a car accident downtown, but resembles the ghost. But then I don't see anywhere it says to where it describes the ghost as being like a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
Like,
it'd be pretty obvious as a child versus a woman.
you would think,
You would think, but also it's a ghost?
yeah. So I don't know. I haven't really thought about like ghosts. Usually they talk about like your dead clothes and things like that because what you die in is what you wear for your haunting. So always dress how you want to haunt, I guess.
Yeah, dress to your best so you can be
Yeah.
eternally dressed nicely,
Yeah,
I
but
don't
then
know.
do you want to be dressed the best, or you want to dress comfortably?
Oh,
Like,
well.
are your clothes going to bother you in any way, shape, or
I
form when you're
meant best as
dead?
in comfy and what you
Yeah, like,
like.
do I make sure that my hair is just right, or do I make sure my hair is up so it's out of my way? But then again, I'm a ghost. My hair's not going to grow or shrink, or I don't know. There's a lot of questions there, but
And who are you
so
haunting?
there's so many things, but so the earliest sightings were in the 30s and 40s, which goes with the whole if they started in the 30s, it says by the mid 30s, but then Mary, who was the car accident, she was in the 30s. So she died in 34. So I don't really know. But drivers began reporting young women in a white gown along Archer Avenue, which is the avenue from dance hall to cemetery. In 1939, a man claimed that he had danced with a young woman, so probably not the 12-year-old, who vanished after asking for a ride to the cemetery, which anybody in the middle of the night ask you for a ride to the cemetery, maybe try and poke them and see if they're a ghost. I don't know. I think that anybody that I mean, granted, if you're my friend or my family and you ask to go to a cemetery, like, okay, we can go to Hollywood Cemetery, it's cool. Um, but probably if they're strangers, poke them and see if they're real.
Or,
Um,
the more conventional nowadays, shake hands, see if you can actually, shake hands.
yeah, true. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, in the 70s, in 1976, so a year before I was born, Um, the bars of the cemetery were reportedly found to be bent like outward. So, like if you're standing in the cemetery, they're going to be bent, moving and out, not like so they're
Like
like
something's trying
coming.
to leave the cemetery.
Yes, and it supposedly had scorch like marks and like fingerprints and like flesh marks on them. So I don't know. It, they say like the cemetery has actually come out and said no, this is a natural occurring, like, over age. I don't know. I'm assuming they're iron, because that's what everything was made of. That, "No, this was normal. This is just wear and tear." I don't know that metal bending and fingerprints is normal wear and tear, but then I don't own iron gates,
And it could be
so
just a bunch of, like, teenagers and stuff messing with things.
yeah, and get a like, what are they called? Blowtorch,
Yeah.
maybe they got a blowtorch and did some stuff. They say that there's, like, swamp gases and things like that and normal gases that are released from the earth, especially when there's dead bodies involved, because our bodies are very gassy, that's why they bloat when we're dead, because things start decomposing and breaking down and gas comes up.
Yes.
Maybe it was like a gas ball that just came out of somebody and it went boom into the door and it was like magic like in Scooby Doo. I don't know, but supposedly they say that it is completely, just the normal wear and tear, but in a cab driver said that they described picking up women in white, and then taking them to the the cemetery, and they just vanished. You know, Okay. Again, these are like typical stories that you hear in almost every town. Almost every town has a bridge where these things happen, a cemetery where this happens, or somebody shows up and then they vanish. In the 1990s to the 2000s, there were still sightings. It was less popular, but then that might also be because people aren't
Gonna
the way we
be
live our
picking up
lives.
hitchhikers?
Yeah, one, we don't pick up 70s hitchhiking was a big deal. People thought it was safe, and then we defined what a serial killer was, and we did
And
not.
we realize that it's not, and
No,
lots of
yes.
particularly women.
Mhm.
I mean, anyone's
So,
a target, but women are seen as easier targets and more often than not.
yes, absolutely, but so that could just be like, you know, generational. It could be that in the 1990s and the 2000s, we were busy doing so many other things that we weren't necessarily out driving around on kind of an empty road. There was more traffic, population booms, so many different reasons. But
Yeah.
they did come about still here and there. And they are it's part of the ghost tours and culture of Chicago and the southwest suburbs. Um, like I said, the building actually burnt down. The ballroom burnt down in 2016.
With the
Um,
ghosts.
yeah, the ghosts were like the
The ones
ones who
trying to
took the
escape the cemetery.
Yep, the ones who took the blowtorch to the cemetery gate. Um, it's considered one of the most famous of white ladies in the country. It's definitely the most famous in the Chicago area. They don't really say why she's considered being in white. We're going with that white women. So women wore white. That was a combination of things. Women wore more white when it was to show that they were non-married. In certain generations, it was a very typical color, like, you only wore this color because you were this, and then after you're married, you change colors, and then after people die, that's the only color you wear is black, like, society things, but I feel like it didn't really give you too much information, but the White Lady
I
is
also gave me a lot, especially the fact that there is different versions of the woman in white, the white lady throughout the world, and then a notorious one that they have found two people that could possibly be this.
I
So if you
was
believe in ghosts, here you
yeah,
go.
I thought it was really cool because it's like hold on, I'm gonna bend down.
I mean, yeah, it's not often you have something that's around the world,
Yeah,
in
and
different cultures and folklore. Uh, but there's other things like don't whistle at night.
well, they say that the whistling brings the witches and the demons, so whistling is just bad all the time. Don't do it.
Well, especially at night.
Yeah, just don't do it. But, I thought it was really cool because I was expecting it to be a US phenomenon that, like, we have all of because it's so common in especially very coastal cities and towns, um, since the founding of the country, but there wasn't like they're saying, that indigenous people, like, had white ladies, so we don't have any real stories of those, so I was like, "Oh, wow, it goes across the world in multiple, multiple cultures, and it generally represents the same thing." So that was
Pretty sure
cool.
there was a supernatural episode of it.
I am sure I think it's one of the first
It
episodes.
is one of the first seasons because I remember watching it with Luke
Yep, I
because he did
remember
not
that
enjoy
too.
Supernatural as much, and we did not get as far.
Yeah, it was a very long series.
Yeah,
It's
wasn't there like
crazy.
12? No,
I think there's
more?
15.
There's so many seasons, and I stopped Luke keeping track around season 7.
Supernatural season.
But lots of seasons, and they definitely did one with a woman in white. I think I even watched that episode of like Morgan and Molly. I don't know.
15. There's 15 seasons.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, every so
So
often they talk about bringing it back. I don't
they
even remember
don't.
how it
There's not
ended.
much more else to do.
No, I was like, I don't even remember how it ended at this point. It's been
No.
so long. I know.
And how many times they died?
So many. So many. I mean, they were saving the world like every other day.
Yeah, and there's so many, only so many things that can happen.
Yeah. Maybe they can team up with like Buffy and the Charmed sisters and save the world all in one foul swoop together, and then we're all protected for all time.
They're supposedly remaking Buffy.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be signed on to do help work on it.
Well, that'll help.
And I think Dolly Parton actually said she was still signing on to help too. Because she
With
did. She was
Buffy.
an yeah, she was an executive producer of the original series.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not one of those things that people probably know very often. But yeah, I think she gave her like green light and was like, "Yep, okay."
I mean, it's Buffy.
Yeah. I don't know how it's gonna play out,
It's
that worries
okay.
me, but
Out of my class of like 200 for engineering economy in college, I was the only one who understood one of the problems we did was referencing Buffy. It's like, how am I the only one? Come on.
they weren't raised right. That's all. They just weren't raised right.
I mean, because some of them are definitely not the oldest like I am, so it's like y no one knows Buffy. Weird.
Yeah.
But I did not do anything, supernatural. I didn't know who to talk about, so I went back to my list of screenshots, particularly the ones of notable women in STEM from the Natural History Museum in downtown Raleigh, and I will be talking not as long as you, because there's not as much information, and let alone as many different stories, because I'm also talking about one particular woman, not
Yes. Mine was a concept.
concept and idea, and then
Yeah.
it did narrow down to possibly 2 women. Um, it is Inez Fung. She is a professor of atmospheric science at the University of California, Berkeley. She's jointly appointed to in the Department of Earth and Planetary Science and the Department of Environmental Science, Policy and Management. She's also the co-director of the Berkeley Institute of the Environment. And I figured, climate change is a very real thing.
Save the
And a
world.
kind of little reiteration because it's been very warm this October. Normally not this warm.
Not for as long as it has been,
No.
no.
And so figured Inez Fung would be great. She is a member of both the National Academy of Sciences and the American Philosophical Society, and a fellow in both the American Geophysical Union and the American Meteorological Society. Since 2021, she has been a member of the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology, aka PCAST. Early life and education. Inez Fung was born and grew up in Hong Kong, which was then a British colony, because she was born in 1949. She spoke Chinese at home and learned English at school. Her parents did not have secondary education, which would be college and onward, and thought it was important for their four children to have educational opportunities. She graduated from King's College, Hong Kong in 1967. In response to the 1967 Hong Kong riots, her family left Hong Kong for North America. She traveled to the United States and enrolled in Utica College in New York. Fung transferred to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, receiving her Bachelor's of Science in Applied Mathematics in 1971. Then, studying under Jewel Gregory Charney at MIT, she wrote her doctoral thesis on the organization of spiral rain bands in a hurricane. She won the Rosby Award for Outstanding Thesis of the Year. She received her SCD, her Science Doctorate of Science, in 1977, becoming the second woman to graduate from MIT with a doctorate in meteorology.
Wow.
So I gotta now find out who the first woman was. And so her overall career, she joined the National Academy of Sciences in 1977, working as a research associate until 1979 before she joined the Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory at Columbia University, a position she held until 1986, when she was promoted to the position of adjunct associate research scientist at the observatory. In 1986, she was also hired as a physical scientist for the NASA Goddard Space Flight Center's Goddard Institute for Space Studies. That same year, she began to serve as a member of the National Academy of Sciences, the National Research Council Climate Research Committee until
That's
1989. So she's doing a lot.
a huge name.
Lots of mouthful names. We know NASA's big, and you're just hearing, National Academy of Science and National Research Council. She is in very big, reaching organizations, very well notable organizations such as like Columbia, and she went to MIT. So massive foothold, especially because in this time in particular, in
Women.
STEM, women aren't as common, let alone women of color. I mean, even when I did STEM more recently, still not as many women, and we were mostly white women.
Even now.
Yeah, so, and I
Yeah.
graduated like 4 years ago. So you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and and so, like I said, that was in 1989. She served as the Journal of Climate's associate editor from 1988 to 1989 as well during this time frame, and as the full-time editor from 1996 to 1998 for the Journal of Climate. In the spring of 1988, Fung was a visiting associate professor at the Institute of Environmental Studies at the University of Washington, was the adjunct professor, Division of Applied Mathematics, Department of Applied Physics at Columbia from 1989 to 1993. So she's doing a lot of things, not just
Mhm.
weather focused, but still very weather focused because you have to know your mathematics, you have to know your physics. And then she was promoted to adjunct senior scientist at the Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory at Columbia and joined the University of Victoria in Canada, working as a professor in the School of Earth and Ocean Sciences in 1993. Then in 1998, Fung left the University of Victoria and the NASA Goddard Center, joining the University of California, Berkeley. all very big, notable,
Yeah,
prominent
very.
universities and
Yeah.
programs
Yeah.
still. Since then, she has done extensive work on climate modeling, biogeochemical cycles, and then climate change. During the last decade, she contributed to both the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, third and fourth assessment reports. In 2006, she joined with 17 other climate scientists to file an amicus curiae brief in Massachusetts v. EPA to support the need for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, to regulate carbon dioxide emissions, which, by the way, is a massive deal. Humans are overproducing too much carbon dioxide, which is leading to climate change, the overall global warming, and we've already reached the 1.5 degrees Celsius mark. It is
Yeah.
1.5 degrees Celsius warmer due to direct human involvement in the
And
climate.
that's
This is
just
a
our
fact.
existence. Yeah,
This
and it's
is
just
a
our
fact.
existence.
This is not theory or made up liberal leftist nonsense. This is again a fact. We are making the earth significantly warmer, and we're already at 1.5 degrees Celsius. And it is on track to go higher right now. So, her being one of the 17 climate scientists, or one of the 18 to help with the EPA to regulate carbon dioxide emissions is a big deal. In fact, that is currently falling apart due to the current administration. So the United States will be producing much, much more carbon dioxide until that is returned back to the EPA doing its job instead of it just being the protection agency of oil that it is becoming. And so, a little note on her personal life. Fung lives in Berkeley, California, which is to make sense as she currently works for the university there, and is married to oceanographer Jim Bishop, a professor also at the University of California, Berkeley. And the notable thing, because she is a very distinguished person and woman in her field, she has obviously earned many honors and recognition along the way, which is why she has a Wikipedia page, because you gotta be notable. I mean, her husband doesn't have one, so. Starting from 1977 all the way to 2019, she, as noted, she won the Rosby Award for the Outstanding Thesis of the Year in the Department of Meteorology at MIT in 1977. In 1987 to 1993, she had the NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies Peer Award. In 1989, she won the NASA Exceptional Scientific Achievement Medal. In 1990 to 1997, the NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies Most Valuable Paper Award. In 1991, the NOAA, the National Oceanic Atmosphere Association, Distinguished Authorship Award. And then from 97 to 2002, she was a NASA Goddard Senior Fellow, which means a fellow means basically you're above us, me, which is a subject matter expert. You're someone who is, I don't know how to explain a fellow best. They are just the person and they have many years of experience under their belts, which exceeds them past just being a SME or a subject matter expert. And in 2002, received the Henry W. Kendall Memorial Lecture in Global Change Science, MIT. 2004, the Roger Revel Medal, American Geophysical Union. 2005, Scientific American 50 Award. 2007, National Center for Atmospheric Research, NOAA, Community Client System Model Distinguished Achievement Award. 2010, member of the Academia Sinica. 2019, Carl Gustav Rosby Research Medal for the American Meteorologist, which is the same Rosby award, same name, tied to the one she for her outstanding thesis in 1977. And in 2019, she also became a foreign member of the Royal Society. Lots of prominent awards and recognition for Inez Fung in her studies for atmospheric science and other little things like little, huh? I mean, getting an honor for them of your thesis is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So
It's
that
generally just
is
yeah.
my person, Inez Fung. Not a whole lot about her, but she's done a whole lot. If you wanna dive deeper, I'm sure you may have to pay for some places for some of her, um,
Papers and things.
papers, but some of them would probably be free. You could easily go find her thesis. I That's definitely gotta be in a public domain, considering it's almost 50 years ago.
Yeah, there's that whole public domain thing that, after so many years, it's just out there.
Yes,
But
so yeah, she was born in '49? Yes, she's 76.
yeah,
She's
because
still
she's really
alive
old.
and doing a lot. She's still a professor.
Which, I mean, granted, my dad is still working as far as I know, and he's the same age because he just turned 76 this month.
Mhm.
I mean, assuming he's still working, I have no idea what the man does with his life.
I don't know, but
But
it's very different than being a professor.
yeah, like you actually have to, well, he sells boxes for a living, so I'm sure he has to be creative.
Yeah, but it's not like you have to actually go and have a full enough brain cells to
Yeah,
still be
but
at top of your field to be a professor and teach undergrad,
and
graduate students, doctoral candidates.
well, they also have to do research to still get published, like,
Yeah, it's
you
like
are
she's still doing
expected. Yep,
research.
yep, she's still doing work, like, legit work, trying to figure out problems that we need fixed,
Exactly, and
like,
some
50
professors
years
are
ago.
only professors so they can do research
Yeah.
and don't care about their undergrad, as I've experienced. But,
Yeah.
she's still teaching,
Yeah.
either because she wants to do research or she wants to teach or both. I think she wants to do research and hopefully she's a great professor. I wouldn't know. I did
Yeah.
not go to
Rate your
Berkeley.
professor? You should check
Yeah,
Rate
we
the
need to go
Professor.
search her on Rate My Professor.
Yeah, because I mean, that's, like, the how you know, because
Yes,
that's
oh
all
my
of her.
god, My Professor is so important.
Yeah, unless they do not have a professor listed for your course, because I know when I got, like,
Yeah,
when I was so far and so close to graduation where there was, like, they had nobody to teach the courses that we had to take, but because we were the next class that they didn't have a class the semester before, but since we have a class and we have a cohort, then they had to give us a teacher, but they didn't give us a teacher until we actually took the class, and we're like, "Wow,
yep.
you are not somebody I would have picked if you were on Rate My Professor when I knew who you were gonna be."
I had to
But,
do
no
that
choice.
going blind one time because the other we had a new professor teaching one course because it was originally just one professor, so there's only one class. But there's so many of us,
Uh-huh.
they had to have 2 classes, so they needed another professor, entirely new to the university. So we're like, in his first time teaching in a public university, I think. Um, so we're like, it's an 8 a.m. compared to a 9:40 with this one we who know is terrible. We're risking it and going for the 8 a.m.
No. That I will say that was nice to be able to have the right professor to, like, try and finagle which course you were gonna take.
Yes. Oh, and it's
Uh,
even worse because some professors, it's like you have for some courses, you have terrible professors or you have the great one, but you don't know what section they're teaching until the class is starting. And
yes.
it's like, I chose the wrong section and I didn't know it. So you have to reach out to the professor and maybe they'll tell you, but they likely won't depending on who they are. So you have to look at what they've taught in the past and then maybe that'll be it, but not always.
Yeah, I don't miss all of that, but then again, I don't know. I don't
And
know.
it's even more niche if you're in grad school, but also professors
Oh
are not as much of butt heads in grad school compared to undergrad.
well, in grad school, they it's different because it's undergrad, a lot of it are grad students that are teaching you, and
I only had grad students for labs.
I had them for some of my actual classes.
Mm.
Even in my major, I had grad students just being the teachers, which they had never taught that course because they just got thrown into it or something. It
You
was
know,
what it
I
was.
had professors for classes, grad students for labs.
I had grad students for even for, like, high-level math classes. Yeah, my proofreading class was just a grad student.
It's okay. I mean, it's not obviously the same. But I had a professor that was teaching a very mathematics heavy course, and half the people in this course are engineering students. And we're like, "We don't know proofs. What do you mean? We took this class because we heard it was easy, not proof heavy." It turns out it was the other professor.
Oh,
W
yeah.
I I could do the actual mathematics. I could do the calculations, no problem. But when it came to doing proofs,
Right,
I was
proofs.
so lost. I
Yeah.
cried to my professor because I somehow did better every exam throughout the semester. It was my last semester of college, and I'm crying. It's like, all I need is a C. I don't get it. The proofs don't make sense. I can do the quote actual math. And he's like, it is all real math. I'm like, you know what I mean.
Yeah. My proofreading class, the threshold was because I went to a college that had pluses and minuses.
I thankfully did
Um,
not.
yeah, it's not common. It's not common at all. It does do great things when you have an A plus in a class to your GPA,
But the
but
negatives are so bad.
yeah, that really hurts. So threshold was to get to the next course, you had to have a B minus, and I so hated that class. And he was a grad student, so he didn't care, and he was not very helpful. Um, I think I still have that textbook somewhere around here.
I still have all my textbooks.
I have that, and I think I have a biology one that your sister has, and then I have my history of advanced mathematics textbook because that one was crazy. Oh, that one was crazy.
Here's my favorite textbook. It's Astrodynamics.
Oh,
It is also my favorite because it was $25 brand new. My cheapest textbook by far.
ugh, yeah, kinda waiting for your sister to be done in December so I don't have to granted, her schooling has been
Yeah, if you wanna do
not that bad.
astrodynamics, orbital mechanics, here you go,
Nope,
some orbits.
nope, nope.
This is
Mm,
what I wanna go do my master's in, which is why this
no,
is my favorite textbook
nope,
'cause this is the stuff I like. Okay,
no.
I know we're still on a tangent, but as a note, sometimes your professor will use different variables names or different variable symbols compared to the textbook, and it is
I yeah,
awful.
I can see that.
That happened in this class. So, I can't remember what it was, but say, um, we're gonna just use an example. Instead of, like, a theta, you'd have a mu or something. Because 'cause I'm seeing the mu in here, and it's like
I feel
different Greek letter for a different Greek letter. It's like, which one are we using?
ugh, yeah, I like the Mew, it's cute. It's
And
got,
goes
like
mu.
pointy it's, like, pointy in parts and curvy in other parts,
It's a U
right?
with a tail.
Yeah, that yeah, most people
Mu.
write it with the tail, the pointy part at the top.
I just drew it down.
No. Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
that's,
Yeah.
the nerd of the day.
Yeah, that's yeah, shows we are definitely nerds,
Uh-huh.
but that's okay. Go do something extraordinary.